Good morning, guys. We are going to continue with our word illustration drawing for today. So hopefully you got a chance to figure out what word you want to illustrate, and then also just a few images off of Google Images, wherever you wanted to find them, to help you create some of your drawings for the image that you're making. So we are going to start by creating the background. Okay, so the very first thing that you want to do is select what color you want your background to be. So remember that you could either just click and look at these pre-made colors that we see here, or you could click and hold and change that color to whatever you are looking for. Okay, so that gives you a little bit more control. Totally up to you what you want your background color to be. Okay, so once you figure out the background color, use the paint roller tool and just click that background so that we have that main color in the background there. Now, as we're starting to create the image, we're creating whatever images you want to be in the back first, because just like a collage, we would have things laid over the top that would be more visible than the other ones. Okay, so that's the same way we need to think about it. So we're not going to be doing anything with the word yet. The writing or the text that we're going to include is going to be the very last thing that we put in there. Okay, so we've been using these tools for a few different projects. You guys have hopefully watched the YouTube video that I gave you that was kind of a tutorial on all those different tools. You could use any of those that you want to start creating your image. There is one thing that I want you guys to include that you may have noticed in the student examples. It's something called positive negative space reversal. So if we think about the elements when we first started learning about them, positive space is when there's something actually there, space that's taken up, and negative space is emptiness. Okay, so what we're going to do is create a shape that there's a positive example of it and a negative example. So the easiest way to do this is to take one of your tools and let's get a darker blue. Just go ahead and make an area with that color, right? And then we're going to use this little X-Acto knife. Looks like a little blade. And whatever shape you want to use for this, we're going to draw that using that tool inside of the shape that we just made. So say, for example, we're going to make a little palm tree. Oops. Try that again. You're going to draw your shape using that tool. And then once you finish drawing your shape, it should make this dashed line in the shape that you just drew. So then what you could do is you could click and drag that shape out, and we now have the positive version, which would be right here, because that's actually taken up, and then the negative shape, because that's just an opening, okay? And you don't have to keep those in the same spot. You could click and drag and move this wherever you want. And same thing with the other image here. If you want to move this whole shape, and you could do this with other shapes while you're working on your collage as well, just click and drag and move that around. So you could see that that's an opening in the back. And once you move it, you don't have to worry about that white space, because you could just go back to that green color that we were using. I don't know if it's saved the same one. And I know this color is going to be slightly different, but if I had that same color, I could just click and change that shape. And actually, I could just change the color of the background too. Okay. Now, one thing that you might want to do is to have a little bit more overlapping with that. So say I did have some line work, make it a little bit thinner, and then I wanted to put this shape over the top. Oops, had the wrong tool selected. I could select that, move this over the top, if I didn't have that color in there. But I already filled it in with the color. All right, so we're going to fill up the entire background. Make sure that you do have some overlapping going on, and we're not going to do the lettering yet. That's going to be the last step that we do. When you get finished for today, make sure you take a screenshot or save this to your photos and upload that. And if you have any questions, make sure you send me an email. All right, have fun, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.